work on more of that parabola worksheet, since that's going to be part of your homework. All right, what we're going to do now is on our note sheet, problem number 5A. It says, write the equation of the parabola if the vertex is -2, -3, and it contains the point 1, 2. Now, this is so easy. Remember, this is what you want the equation of your parabola to look like, right? So there's always an x in the parentheses, right? And there's always a y over here. And then there are these 3 numbers in the problem, right? So the framework of your equation is going to be y equals some number, a parentheses with an x squared and another number, and then some other number on the end. Don't let that be confusing. These numbers, you got to figure out what they are, and when you put them in the equation, it'll look just like this one, right? Now, I think you can already fill in 2 of these blanks. Because what do we know? We know the vertex. So work backwards. If the vertex is x minus 2, or not x minus 2, if the vertex is at -2, then this has to be x plus 2. And if it's -3, isn't this going to be -3? Wouldn't that give you a vertex left 2, down 3? That's a no-brainer. That's easy. Now, the only thing I don't know is this number. I'll call it n for the time being. I don't know what it is. Is it a 2? Is it a -5? I don't know what it is. But I'm going to use this other point to help me. See, the vertex goes into the equation. Now, that point is another x and y. So I'm going to take that y and put it right here, and that x and put it right here, and I'm going to see what that n works out to equal. All right, so you see what I did? In the problem, they gave me 2 pieces of information. They gave me a vertex, which I plugged in to my equation. They gave me this other point, which I'm going to use as the x and the y. And then I can solve this and figure out what n is. You see what I'm saying? All right, so here we go. What does this equal? 1 plus 2 is 3, squared is 9. Don't you even think about subtracting 3. See that 9? It's hooked to n. So this is 9n minus 3. You can't add those together. What are you going to do with that 3? You're going to move it to the other side. So what does n end up equaling? 5 9ths. So my equation is y equals 5 9ths x plus 2 squared minus 3. Wasn't that easy? That was easy. Let's try the next one. Same exact problem, only the vertex is at 0, 1, and the random point we contain is 7, 3. Now start with what you know, which is that the vertex is at 0, 1. So when you write your equation, there's this number out in front that we don't know what it is yet. But then there's a parentheses, x, what? Minus 0? It could be plus. When it's 0, it does not matter, does it? Plus 1 on the end? Now, do I even have to say x minus 0? Could I just say x squared? if there's a plane x squared, what does that tell me? I'm not going sideways, but I am going up 1. That would put my vertex at 0, 1. If you like it better with the 0 in there, that's fine. No, I'm not done. What do I need to do now? I need to figure out what that missing number is. And how do I figure out what that missing number is? I plug in the other random point they gave me. So I'll put 3 in for y and 7 in for x. Now, are you going to add 49 and 1? No, because the 49 is hooked to the n. So 3 equals 49n plus 1. So 2 equals 49n. And n equals 249. So your equation, you just put a 249 right here. And that is the answer to the equation, or to the problem. If you don't want to put the 0, that's fine too. It's not hard at all. These are 2-step problems. What's the first step? Plug in your vertex. Then the second step is plug in the other point to help you find n. Marley? We only have about 15 more minutes. Can you wait? All right, hurry up.
I already finished C, so.
I don't care. You're not supposed to be out running around the halls. Okay. Leave your phone here, Marley.
It's in my backpack.
Okay, thank you. All right, here we go. This is the last one of these. Then we're going to look at one on your, couple on the worksheet. All right, so how do we start? What's the first thing you're going to write down on your paper? Y equals n times x. All right, now remember, this is the vertex, so we're starting with that. So it'll be x minus 2 squared. Don't forget the squared. And then minus 1. Write 2 down 1. That's what the vertex says. Write 2 down 1. Step 1's done. Now what's step 2? Plug in this random point. There's your x and your y. Make sure you're putting them in the right spot. So negative 5 equals n times 4 minus 2 squared minus 1. So negative 5 equals n times, okay, 4 minus 2 is 2 squared is 4. Do not subtract 4 minus 1. This is a 4n minus 1. So we'll add 1. Oh, this one came out nice. N equals negative 1. So then you can go back and write your equation. Y equals negative 1, x minus 2 squared minus 1. Because n was negative 1. All right, your parabola worksheet that we finished a couple minutes ago, turn it over. There's something different on the back. No, we're turning it over and looking at the back. The parabola worksheet. Yep, we're turning it over. And we're going to look at, we're going to learn something new by doing this, the back side of this worksheet. The quiz you just took was awesome and wonderful. It was pretty easy now that we haven't figured out all that completing the square stuff. But I made it easy by making sure you didn't have to deal with any fractions or yucky numbers. You know, everything worked out great. A lot of times when we do the vertex, unfortunately, and complete the square, we run into some nasty arithmetic. there is a shortcut to find the vertex. So I'd like to show that to you. Let me put your quiz problem back up here on the board, and I'm going to show you how the shortcut works. Well, actually, no, I'll just do the first one on the worksheet. Here we go. Here's how the shortcut works. We're going to find the vertex, axis of symmetry, and direction of opening using the shortcut. The shortcut is called the axis of symmetry formula. Takes forever to write that, but this is the shortcut. Remember when you do the axis of symmetry, it's x equals something? The formula says the axis of symmetry will always be negative b over 2a. Always. Now, do you have any idea what we mean by b and a? In the equation, like if you were doing the quadratic formula, a would be 3, b would be negative 6, and c would be 1. So negative b over 2a would be positive 6 over 6. Negative this over 2 of this, which is 1. So your axis of symmetry is x equals 1. Now wait a minute. That's okay, that's great, and the formula perfect, but I need my vertex. How can I get my vertex from that? Oh, wait a minute. We know that whatever the x is here, that's the x in the vertex, right? We know they match. So if we know the x is 1, we can plug it in and find y. So 3 times 1 minus 6 times 1 plus 1. What would that add up to? 1 squared is 1, no? Right? Now, if it were 2, I'd have to make it 4, but 1 squared is still 1. So what's that end up equaling? Negative 2. So my vertex is at 1 comma negative 2. Which way does this thing open? Right here's the number that counts. Which way does it open? Up. So we just did the same thing you did on your quiz, but we did it without completing the square. Let's try the next one. Same thing, we're going to use our shortcut now, and we're going to find the vertex, the axis of symmetry, and the direction of opening. You can tell before you start which way's it open?
Down.
Down. You're looking at the coefficient on the x squared. You're looking at your a term. A is negative 2. B is 8. Uh-oh, what's C?
Well, I don't need it. 0.
Well, it's 0, and somebody said you don't need it, and you're right, you don't. But it's 0. So my formula says x equals negative b over 2a.
2.
So I have negative 8 over negative 4, which is 2. So my axis of symmetry is x equals 2. Which means that my vertex has an x coordinate of 2. Remember how these match? Always? Now how do I get my y? Plug it in. So I'm going to plug it in, and this time I do have to do the arithmetic, Paul, because it's not a 1, so here we go. If I plug it in, I get y equals negative 2 times 2 squared plus 8 times 2. I'm plugging in my x value, which is 2. Remember, when you do this, you do exponents first. So 2 squared is 4 times negative 2 would give me negative 8. Plus 16, which is 8. And now I have my vertex, axis of symmetry, direction of opening.
All that says, but we have to do both types.
Yes.
Simple as that.
Yes. Actually, Paul, I will ask you to complete the square. I don't know if I'll ask you to use the shortcut. We're going to use it in a lot of our problems, but I will make sure you know how to complete the square. All right? All right, we're going to do one more. I'd like you to do this one by yourself. Problem C. Everybody's doing problem C. We're going to compare our answers and see how we did. Problem C. Finding your vertex, axis of symmetry, and direction of opening. And I know there's a fraction in it. Do not panic. Because remember what your formula says to do. Robbie? Oh, the formula says to take negative b, whoops, that would be positive 4, right? Over 2a. What happens when you multiply 2 times a half? You get 1. You get the best number in the whole wide world. So there's no need to panic. It comes out great. So x is 4, all right? So go back and find the rest of your vertex now. Zero is your x coordinate. What'd you come up with as your vertex? 4 comma what?
Negative 7.
Negative 7, that's what I got. And your direction of opening? Up. Yep,
So
x
fun.
equals 4. This is my axis of symmetry. X equals 4. Okay? Guess what's going to happen tomorrow?
Quiz.
Oh my golly, we'll have another little 6-point quiz. And guess what you're going to have to do on that quiz?
Shortcut.
You're going to have to do 2 things. Whoa, 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 2 things. We're not done. We're not done. One of the 2 things you're going to have to do tomorrow is this. The other one is what we started with a few minutes ago, where I tell you the vertex and some point that's on the curve, and you find the equation. Let's do this real quick. Joseph James, get your head up. Talking about a quiz we're going to take tomorrow.
Yeah, I know.
Okay. All right, so one quiz question is like the one you just did. Use the shortcut to find the vertex, axis, symmetry, direction of opening. Okay? Everybody hearing me? Paul? Okay. The second question, or the other question, will be, here's the vertex, here's some random point, write the equation. All right, so it's been like 15 minutes since we did this. Who remembers?
Write it in.
What are you doing back there, Speckman? What you doing with the other hand? It's making me nervous.
Yeah, gee.
You plug in your vertex.
You plug in your vertex. So we don't know what that number is right now. We know there's one out there. But this would be x minus 1 squared.
You gotta see this.
Biggest mistake that's made is kids forget you have to have a squared on there. Don't forget that squared. And then minus 3. Right 1, down 3. That's my vertex. Then what?
Plug in a containing variable.
Take that point, put 5 here, and -3 here, and then work it out. So that would be 5 equals 16n minus 3, 8 equals 16n, and n equals 1/2. So in the answer blank, y equals 1/2 x minus 1 squared minus 3. That is easy. So 2 questions tomorrow, another half-sheet quiz. Those are the 2 questions. Everybody okay with that? Everybody hears me? Yeah, right when you walk in. You're all packing up and heading out, so I presume we don't need any review.